Here we're going to make a step ladder or a ladder for a old-fashioned library to a client. And the material, it's mahogany, but it's an African mahogany that looks very much like teak. And we're just going to start gluing some pieces together. This is mostly the steps. These pieces that I glued for the ladder, they're kind of not very straight. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a guide to them so I have a straight edge to put on the table saw. I'm going to staple this, then I have a straight edge, and then I cut. Now I use this as the straight edge and cut here. And it looks like the nails are still there, but I think we can pull those out. Now we have a clean edge there. So now we just turn it around and cut this. We're going to cut this piece, it's going to be the steps. So we might as well cut the angle right away. I don't have to do one more cut there. Now I have the angle that I want for the steps. See how many steps this is good for, but we have one more piece that we can cut more out of. I'm going to make a jig so I can router the cut where the step gonna be inserted into the side. And I'm using some good quality plywood, and let's cut. This is brand new, it should work, but I have to measure the depth to make sure, so I don't have to do it twice. Let's take this. Now we're gonna have the first step 12 inches from the ground, and that's the top of the step. So the cut is gonna be right here. And we're gonna give it a try. Now it's 12 inches from there, from the top to the top. Yes. Now we're going to glue this ladder, and I'm going to use Gorilla Glue. I think it's a little stronger, but only negative thing, it's a little messy. But we see, and I have all the steps ready, and Gorilla Glue recommend to put little water because it dries with help of humidity. So I'm just gonna put some water on here, and then we glue it and clamps it. If you're smart and using Gorilla Glue, you start out with some latex gloves, because my hand is gonna be black for 4 or 5 days, and I'm gonna look like a grease monkey, which I am, I guess. So I love Gorilla Glue, but I always forget to put the gloves on. I'm going to start with 100, and of course we use Festool, and we're just going to get the glue off on the flat surface, and on the corners here I guess I have to do with a knife and a scraper and by hand. I'm finished sanding all the way around with the Festool sander. Now I'm only going to do the edges, and we're not going to router it because that just gets too much. I'm just going to do a very little. And I always save broken sandpapers from the Festool machine. I've been sanding and sanding and sanding, both with the Festool sander and then a lot by hand. All the corners here is by, or the edges are by hand. Now this is made, I'm sure I said that before, with African mahogany that looks like teak. And now what's left, it's just to add some teak oil. The client that ordered this, he's not a local, and he's going to attach the wheels down here and the track up on the top. So it's a library ladder that slides sideways. And this is a product that it's pretty good on teak and any other or a lot of other wood. It has tiny little bit of a color, but it's mostly colorless. I decided to use the brush because at the corners it's hard to get to with a rag. And here it's easier.